morning, everyone. We will be discussing further on the psychosexual theory of Freud. So, psychosexual theory of Freud believe that individuals have sexual satisfaction or needed sexual satisfaction, and this is the key element, according to him, in personality development. He also stated that the sex drive was the greatest shaper of personality. Remember the word libido, of which focuses on sexual urges that needs immediate gratification. And according to Freud, even during this infant stage, the person develops sexual drives or sex drives. So this is the matrix on the psychosexual theory of Freud. There is duration, pleasure zone, main characteristic, and task to perform or achieve. The first stage of psychosexual is the oral stage. Duration is from birth to 1 year of age, and the pleasure zone is mouth. Remember, or if you can observe that little children at this age, whatever they held in hands, they will immediately put inside their mouth. So that's it. And the task to achieve is satisfactory feeding and weaning. Okay. Accordingly, by the way, if the person is orally fixated, according to Freud, he or she, when he or she grows up, he will likely develop personality such as uh, being an alcoholic or often indulge into smoking. The second stage of psychosexual is the anal stage, of which person's duration is from 1 to 2 years old. The pleasure zone is in the anus, and the main characteristic is bowel and bladder controlling, of which the ego starts to control the id. And the task to achieve is potty and toilet training. So there is there are two rather types of anal stage, the anal retentive and anal impulsive. When the person, according to Freud, is an anal impulsive, somehow he will develop a personality which is very messy. While if the person is anally retentive, the person somehow develops grudges forever, or he is or she is extremely stubborn. Another stage of another psychosexual stage of Freud is the phallic stage. Duration is from 2 to 6 years old, so this is probably preschool age. Pleasure zone is on the phallus, and accordingly, the main characteristic of this is the children or the child play with their genitals or his or her genitals, and it will likely develop Oedipus and Electra complexes. Oedipus complexes is the feeling of the son towards his mother, and Electra complexes the feelings of daughter towards her father. Id demands and ego tries to satisfy the id, and the superego tries to impose moral choices. Okay. So in here, Oedipus complex little boys have sexual attraction or feelings towards their mothers and a sense of jealousy or hatred towards their fathers. Electra complexes little girls have a sexual attraction towards their fathers and a sense of jealousy or hatred towards their mothers. According to Freud, complexes are not resolved through murder but through gradual identification of the same-sex parents, like goals, assuming goals, ambitions, mannerisms, and other personality traits. The fourth stage of psychosexual is the latency stage. Its duration is from 6 to 11 years of age. The pleasure zone is none. The main characteristics is Oedipus and Electra complexes are resolved, and that identification of the same-sex parent occurs. The task is none. The fifth stage is the genital stage, of which the duration is from 11 years onward. The pleasure zone is on the genitals, and the main characteristic is increasing concern with adult ways of experiencing sexual pleasure. So in here, uh, according to Freud, uh, the person is on towards his or her puberty stage, of which he or she is interested in opposite sex. So the task to achieve is good relationship with members of both sexes. It's either female or male. So accordingly, Freud also introduced fixation. So as what I have said, when the person is orally fixated, he or she experience gum chews, pencil biters, smokers, and so on. Penis envy was also introduced by Freud, in which Freud believed that girls suffered penis envy because boys had pennies and girls were without them. Sigmund Freud died in 1939 in England at the age of 83 from a cancer of the jaw because, accordingly, he was a cigarette smoker over the years. No? And he himself was orally fixated. Freud's criticisms and critics. Ac- According to the critics of Freud, he studied very few people, so not representative sample. The process of psychoanalysis interviewing exhibit preconceived notions and biases. His methods were untreatable. Definitions don't lead themselves to experimentation, and one's personality is fixed and unchanging, obsessed with sex and aggression. So that's all for the psychosexual stages of Sigmund Freud.